Hey ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you're doing well and you're staying safe and healthy. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Parfums Jivago, and this one is called The Gift, so make sure to stay tuned. So first things first, this fragrance came out in 2016, so it's a relatively recent release. The company itself came out back in 1994, that's when it was founded, so it's been around for quite some time. It does have a bit of history behind it. Now this fragrance is marketed for women and it's called The Gift for her, or Le Cadeau. And The Gift, it's all about giving and receiving passion. And when you take a look at the logo, which are the two J's that face each other, the kissing J's, it's all about giving and receiving love and passion. And so this company is based around passion and love and imagination and just wearing fragrances and appreciating the beauty of life. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many of us get into fragrances and why we're so passionate about fragrances is because of the memories that we can commemorate with them, the memories that we create with certain smells. We go months without smelling a fragrance, we visit it, and all of a sudden it conjures up those memories, and it's the sense that is the most strongly connected to our memory and the limbic system and all of that. And so I particularly really have been enjoying this fragrance. I know it's marketed for women. This is a company that is based out of Beverly Hills, California. And this is a very sort of clean, white floral, musky perfume, and one that I've actually been enjoying smelling on my wife for the past couple of weeks since I've acquired it. Another thing to be said about the company Jivago is the fact that they are the first company to ever feature gold flakes being used in their fine fragrances. I know a lot of companies are doing it nowadays. They were among the first, and so when you consider the fact that the company itself came out back in 1994 and they currently have 19 fragrances or so in their database, I do think that that's pretty impressive. Now, of course, there's quite an elaborate presentation that I have in front of me here, and I do think that it's beautiful. You have this really nicely shaped bottle, super unique. You even have a really nice podium in which you can display the bottle. If you want to position it on your dresser, it makes for a really good conversation piece as well. But ultimately, as many of you know, and those of you who've been following my channel for the past 8+ years, you know that it's really the juice inside that counts. So ultimately, I'm really excited to be telling you what I get in terms of the smell, but we owe it to ourselves to take a quick and close look at the presentation. So the presentation for this fragrance is absolutely stunning. The box on the front almost has this sort of iridescent feel with rose gold accents. And then you may also find some information on the back, including the ingredients, the made-in information. In the case of this fragrance, it's made in France, but the company is based out of Beverly Hills. And feel free to pause your screen if you'd like to read everything. The box opens up from the top, just like this. And on the inside, it says, "With love and love for creation, Ilana V. Jivago." And on the inside of the box, you also find this card with the name of the fragrance, and you have a tag towards the bottom here that reads, "The gift of love is you." I think this is a very nice touch. And the inside of the box has the silhouette for the podium, but also the bottle, and they rest in there separately. So as far as the presentation is concerned for the bottle, it has this really nice podium in which the bottle rests, really cool shape to it, a bit haphazard looking, and the bottle rests in there very comfortably, no matter how you rotate it or how you wish to position it, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the bottle itself also has a lot of detail. It just says Jivago here on the front, and it also has Jivago written into the top of the bottle. Let's see if we can get a closer look there. The back of the bottle just has the concentration and the made-in information. The cap for this fragrance does not click into place, but it is a very snug fit. You can pick it up from the cap, but just be a little bit cautious because you don't want anything happening to it. You don't want any damage happening to it. And this is one of my favorite parts, the distribution on the atomizer. This one is incredibly wide, and it also has a pressurized atomizer so you can control how much you want to spray. Let's continue with the smell. So the opening of this fragrance is quite gorgeous. It opens up in this very sort of feminine, beautiful, clean, musky, white floral sort of a way. And we know that a note like musk has a reputation of being a little bit on the animalic side, but it also has a reputation of being rather clean. And so when you think of that very sort of clean, billowy, slightly powdery white musk, that's what you're going to get in this perfume. So it opens up very fresh, very musky. There isn't a whole lot of citrus in here. I feel like it goes straight to the musk, and you also have these clean white florals that are working their way throughout the composition. And you also have a little bit of ylang-ylang, almost adding like this exotic sort of oriental touch to the fragrance and the perfume. But I really think it's the jasmine and some of these cleaner white florals that sort of dominate the composition, because that's the overall vibe that you're going to get from this. It's a very clean and elegant smelling perfume. The moment I smelled it, it reminds me of a bride-to-be, or yeah, so it reminds me of a bride at her own wedding, at the reception, and she's going up to people and she's kissing her guests and thanking them for their attendance. And I just imagine this being the kind of perfume that you're wearing on that day. And I know, of course, the bottle and the presentation is white, which obviously represents cleanliness and purity. And it's all about what a perfume is able to convey, not only through its olfactive pyramid, but also through the presentation and the narrative and the storytelling. And I just think that all aspects of this perfume were executed really well in this regard. So what you're going to get from an olfactive standpoint is it opens up with this really clean, really nicely done, slightly powdery white musk in the opening. You have these clean white florals like the jasmine, which is not indolic at all in this fragrance, so nothing about it smells animalic to my nose. You also have this backdrop of vanilla that is also, I would imagine, contributing a little bit to that powdery quality that you're going to get from it. And you also have a touch of peach in there as well, which adds this almost slightly youthful and contemporary fruity, floral, feminine sort of a vibe. And so when you think of a lot of these traditionally feminine, classically feminine perfumes, you think of really bright, sort of heady, sharp florals with aldehydes. That's not what's going on in here. The sweeter nuances like the peach and the vanilla definitely add this contemporary vibe to the fragrance, and I think that also amps up the versatility of this fragrance as well. This is eau de parfum strength, and it is strongly concentrated in the degree that this one does last a long time on my skin. I know it's marketed for women, but I did actually wear it myself for a few days for testing purposes as well. And yeah, it's just a really nicely done fragrance. There's just something very timeless and elegant about the way that it smells. It's a very classy sort of a perfume. And you guys know what my philosophy is in regards to, wearing perfumes. It's something that's very personal. It's very intimate. You have to try it for yourself. You have to spend some time with it, really build a relationship with it. But I do think that the way that it comes across on this test trip and the way that I've experienced it on my own skin and also on my wife's skin is it's a really well done, clean, white floral sort of a fragrance. I know it also has this unique note of basil in it and some woodsy nuances in the base. The woods that are in here, perhaps the cedar wood, I don't really smell. And I think that it's really the musky, vanillic, floral thing that's going on in here that kind of overshadows the other ingredients. So in terms of like a basil heavy perfume, that's not necessarily what I'm getting here. So I know a lot of people might think, okay, is it going to smell aromatic or culinary or anything like that? I'm certainly not getting that impression from this fragrance, but it definitely opens up in this very clean sort of white floral vibe that lasts a very long time throughout the course of this perfume. So very well done. It just leaves me very excited and very curious to smell what else this fragrance house has to offer. And with about 20 releases under their belt, there's a lot of exploration to be done there. So I'm hoping you also at home have the opportunity to try this fragrance. And I do think that for a fragrance that was released only 4 years ago, it has a very classic and elegant and timeless sort of a feel. So that definitely surprised me as well. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness uniqueness and the overall smell, I definitely find this fragrance to be unique. I think also given the price, and all of the information is going to be down below, I think this is pretty affordably priced, and this is the type of fragrance that I see being very versatile in terms of like seasons or occasions. And you know, obviously one of the things is when you're wearing a fragrance, you don't want to wear something that's too daring, too challenging, too out there, because you're going to find yourself in a position where perhaps you're going to be self-conscious and you're going to say, did I make the right decision here? I think in the case of this fragrance, that is not the case. That's not what's going on. You are going to experience something that smells very approachable, very appealing, also classically feminine. So keep those things in mind. And again, you know, the ylang-ylang that's in here is not overly strong. I really think it's more so about the clean white florals that you're going to get from this perfume. So the overall smell is very appealing. The longevity on this fragrance, you're going to get about 8+ hours, so it does last a very long time on the skin. It is eau de parfum concentration. The projection is great for the first 2 to 2.5 hours. It's not really until that 6 to 6.5 hour mark where it starts to sit a little bit closer to the skin, but honestly, it doesn't become a skin scent until the 6.5 to 7 hour mark. And so this one will get you through an entire workday. So really well done in terms of the performance on this. Versatility is also very good. I can see this being the type of fragrance that you can wear all year round. When you look at the bottle, you think of what it symbolizes. Again, it's all about cleanliness and purity, and there's never a bad time to smell clean. So I think you can wear it any season, any occasion. I just perhaps don't see a high schooler wearing this fragrance. I think there's an air of maturity and elegance about the smell that I can certainly see this being a little bit more appropriate for someone who's a little bit more established and set in their ways and a little more confident. So it doesn't have this overly fruity sort of ethyl maltal cotton candy, you know, bubblegum sort of a vibe that a lot of youthful fragrances have the tendency of having. And so this one is a little bit more elegant in that regard. And in terms of the presentation, I think it's gorgeous. My final verdict on this fragrance is I think that this is a timeless fragrance. I think it's very well executed, from the notes to the presentation to the concept to the price point. Just everything about it is really, really well done. And so kudos to the company Jivago for being able to put out a product like this. I think this is a really well done fragrance, and for a name like The Gift, I think this would also make a really good gift for somebody, or for a very special woman in your life who you just want to show your thanks and your appreciation towards. And so there you have it. I'm not going to ramble on for much longer, but I did want to take the opportunity to discuss a newer acquisition of mine and a fragrance that I recently discovered that I do think is worth speaking about on this channel. And I hope you at home took some value from this video. And I must say that if you are new to this channel and you did take something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you could support what I do by clicking that red button in the corner. Please do subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. And also please do consider enabling notifications by clicking on the bell icon next to the subscribe button. This way, whenever I do upload future fragrance related content, it'll get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. And of course, that includes fragrance reviews just like this, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, and anything fragrance related. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.